App Mozilla.
Hi guys, it's me. I noticed a lot of you liked the previous videos I did, so I thought I would do another one. I'm not going to do a whole lot of coding tonight because I don't feel like it. But I thought I would describe a little bit more about some of the equipment I use and then show you what I've been sort of playing around with the last couple of nights, and then which I believe is up on the screen there, but we'll get into that later. And then I want to show you how easy it is to do hosting with Firebase, because the app that I've been playing with is just a little demo app on Firebase, and I'll tell you some of the things I learned about, and then show you how easy it is to deploy hosting, because it's pretty easy. So, as some of you, well, any of you who've seen my previous videos knows, I am a blind programmer. I've been programming for about 12 years now. Well, no, I guess if you count my college, it's been 16. I've been working for 12 years. Started programming when I was in high school. Took an AP course in high school and got enough high enough score on my AP test to test out of the first year of programming, but I ended up taking it anyway. But anyway, so some of the stuff that I use, I mentioned before my Braille display. I didn't really explain what it is, though. It's about, because I don't think you guys can see it, because I don't think the webcam is on. It's about the length of the laptop keyboard, basically. So if you figure, a laptop, it's a little bit longer than the laptop, but not much. And I have it sitting on my lap here, and it has little pins that pop up and down that make the that make the Braille dots, and it shows 40 characters at a time. So I can see 40 characters, one line. Well, that's only half a line, but they make ones that are 80 characters long, but those are huge. And I had one that was 70 characters at one time, and it's not working at the moment. But you obviously have to be at a desk to use one of those because they're about the length of a table. But I like my 40 cell because I can carry it around with me, and I can use it with my iPhone too. Just send text messages. It has a keyboard on the top that will let me type in Braille on it, both with the computer and with the phone. And it has little buttons above the characters, so I can move my cursor around. All I'm doing is hitting the buttons on the display. I know you can't see it, but my cursor will move to whatever letter I hit the button above. So that's pretty helpful. All right, so that, and I have speech as well, as you guys have heard. Sometimes I prefer that, and sometimes I just like to use them both because it's kind of nice to have dual feedback, I guess. So I don't know, demo this little app that I sort of built. I don't know if I'm going to keep on refining it or not, but I thought it was kind of fun to play with. Basically, it's kind of like a budgeting app. I just have, you can select a month and a year, you can put in an income, and then you can add categories to it. And the goal is, to make the categories to be like your rent, your cable, and all that stuff, and how much each category is. And the goal would be to make them add up to the income, but not exceed it. And I'm most of the way there. I didn't make the totals component yet that calculates all the totals, but that's pretty trivial. And some of the stuff I did, I think is pretty cool, so I thought I'd show you what I did so far. So right now you're at the main screen of my app. I'm running it locally here. As you can tell, I'm not much for copy editing. Welcome home. So what you would do is just
list with one items bar. Visited link, sign in.
I have authentication set up. If you saw my previous videos, you saw kind of how I set that up mostly. So you would click sign in, and
out of list with two items button, sign in with email.
You can either sign in with email
button, sign in with Google,
or you can sign in with Google. I didn't enable any of the other authentication providers because I'm lazy. But with Firebase, you can sign in with Facebook, you can sign in with GitHub, you can sign in with Twitter. I think there's a couple other ones. I know there's a couple other ones at least. And I'm just using, for this, I'm just using the React Firebase UI open source library, which is not the greatest for accessibility. This part's okay, but the sign in with email could be improved a lot. So I'm just going to sign in with Google because that's easy. I already did this once before, so I don't think it will come up with the box that asks me if I'm allowed to sign in with this app. But if I was doing it for the first time, it would bring that up and it would read that to me. But I think it's just going to take me right back to the app now. If I click sign in.
Busy. React app busy.
Yeah, okay. So now that I've signed in, now you see the app. So you see my display name there.
Month combo box collapsed
you see where
upper.
you can select a month and a year. I just have it default into April 2019, which I don't know why I did that because we're in May. I guess I wasn't thinking. But I should really have it default to the current month and year. But maybe I'll fix that tomorrow or something. Or not tomorrow. I got stuff going on tomorrow. Anyway. So I have it set to April, and you can see
Edit 5,000 total income spend
an
button.
income, and I made the inputs are numeric. So if you try to type in a letter, well, okay, I guess it does let you do that. I didn't think it would if you set your input to type numeric. Maybe that's only on Chrome. Anyway,
F0
so you would, put your income in, and then you see
table amount
the categories. Again, I'm sure the design is probably horrible, but
amount for test 44
tab
spend.
in. I could edit the incomes for the different
Uns-
categories.
Amount for test amount name edit amount edit has auto
You could add a category.
add category heading level
Which I
1.
made these different headings because if you're blind and you use a screen reader, you can just hit the letter H if you're not in a form field, and it will
Categories heading level 1.
travel between the
Add
different
category
headings.
heading level 1.
It's travel between the different headings, so it's a nice way to kind of separate out the page, which is what headings were made for in the first place. But so if I add
Name edit has auto
a category here, and
amount edit 8.
I add an amount, and then I click
Add button.
add.
Dialog category added successfully.
It brings up an
OK
alert.
button.
I could bring up a modal, or I could bring up, an alert. I'm using React Bootstrap, so I could use an alert or something like that if I wanted to. But I just got lazy and figured I'd use the alert dialog for now.
React app
And so
document.
you'll see now that that is showing up
Add category.
in the little
Categories
table.
heading level 1. Table with 7 rows and lovely. Test 44. Love name. Love
Should be anyway.
testing. New
There we
category.
go. Okay. It just didn't put it at the top. I don't know what order it uses. I think it just uses whatever order it feels like if you don't specify an order in your query from Firebase. So now that you've seen how it works, I'll talk a little bit about what I learned and show you some of the code. And I'll put the code on GitHub if anybody cares. If anybody wants to help me with the design just for giggles, show me ways how I could improve it or make it look half decent. That'd be kind of cool. So, all right, let me bring up.
Debut home.j npm home.js.
Okay.
Home.
So we'll start at the top of the tree here. The top of the tree would be the app component, which I'll open it
Home
up
dot
here.
level 1 src level 2 budget level 1 src category Firebase app.css4 of app dot
All right, so
app.js dot text
pretty standard. Just imports React.
Import left blank.
Imports the router.
Import sign-in from import navigation from tick.
Component. Navigation component.
Import home from tick. Import Firebase use. Import tick dot slash blank. Import tick dots.
I don't know why it's using the CSS. I don't think there's anything in there.
Function app. Tab return left. Tab less div class name equals. Tab less Firebase user.
So I have the Firebase user component, which I showed you the other day. Is just basically a wrapper for the Firebase user context. So anything within that Firebase user has access to the currently authenticated user. So if you logged in, you would be able to create your own, budgets, if you want to call them that.
4 tab less router greater.
Okay, so then we have the router. I'm using React Router. Making routes in React Router is really easy. You just have to make sure that you put everything in the router, which I renamed router, technically browser router, but pretty much it's funny that he calls it browser router, and everything I've seen on the internet pretty much renames it to router. But I guess there is probably one for React Native. That's probably why he does it.
5 tabless navig.
So there's navigation component, which is basically just a sign in, sign out button.
5 tab less root path equals quote slash sign quote component equals left brace sign in right brace slash greater.
So that's the sign in component that you just saw. So that's just saying if it goes to the sign in, if we have a slash sign in a route, and we load the sign in component.
5 tab less root path equals quote slash quote exact component equals left brace home right brace slash greater.
Now this exact is very important, because if you don't put that in there, it's going to match everything, because every route has a slash in it. So the home component would be displayed all the time, which is not what we want. Unless you do want that, in which case you leave that out. But anyway, so if you're going to have a entry component like that, you should make sure you put the exact path in there.
4 tab less slash route tab less slash tab less slash dot.
That's it for that component. And all of those components, the home component, the sign-in component, and anything that we even put in the home component has access to the user because of the Firebase user context. I'm using the context API for that. And I'm also using the context API to pass down the Firebase object that I have created, or that initializes Firebase and has the Firestore. So let me show you the home component. Is super.
Level 1 SRC expanded 3 of 7. Level 2 home.j.
There we go.
Home dot tab less slash dot tab left brace user and n less budget container slash greater.
Okay, so and basically that's conditional rendering. It says if the user is authenticated, because I have user
black
declared
tab const user equals use context left parent user con.
Yeah, so the user is being declared with the user context there. So then in the return, it's saying, if it's a user, if the user is authenticated, then we show the budget container. And I chose to use the container component because it separates the logic of the component from the display. So I have a budget container and a budget form component. And one of the things that I learned from this is it seems really obvious now. And they talk in the documentation about lifting state up, but originally I had a budget container component and a category component. Well, there's a save button down at the bottom of my page, and I was going to try to save all the categories when you click save. Well, I couldn't do that because data in React, data only flows one way, so data only flows down. So I had categories in my category container, which the budget container couldn't access because they were underneath each other. So I could have passed the budget down to the category container and just put my save in there, but I decided to just move everything to one container. So the budget and the category are all in the budget container component. So let me show you that, because that's probably the coolest. The forms are pretty self-explanatory, although the category form, because I'm using an array, that was a little tricky too, but
React
let me show you the budget
home.js
container.
home.js level 1 src expanded level 2 budget collapsed 1 x level 3 budget container
So
dot
you see I have them in separate folders too. I put the budget and the category in separate folders, which I think that's a good idea. I didn't do that at first, and then I think it's just a little bit easier if you have it separated out.
budget
Okay, so this
import react comma import import use import const budget container equals left parent right parent equals greater left brace.
By the way, the hooks in React, if you haven't gotten into that, to be able to make everything a functional component and still use state and use effect and all that stuff, and I'll show you use effect here in a little bit, and use state for that matter, it's pretty cool to not have to deal with classes anymore. So if you haven't gotten into hooks, I would encourage you to try that.
Tab const user equals use context left.
We're getting the user.
Tab const Firebase equals use context
the
left.
Firebase class.
Tab const left bracket budget comma set budget right bracket equals use state left parent.
Okay, so this is use state. So I'm declaring a state called budget. So use state will return what's called a tuple, which is an array of two objects. The state and array of two elements. The state and the second element is always the function that's used to set the state. So, and then when you have use state, you can set a default state. So I'm actually going to change that to 5. Actually, yeah, I'll just leave it at 5 for now. I'm going to try to change it to, because this is what the initial budget is. The income is always 0, and the categories are always blank. Although, actually, I could take that out because categories are in their own
space
object.
Right bracket space showing two problem.
That should still work.
React app Mozilla
Just check and make sure.
document React app Mozilla button save.
Yeah, so no errors.
List edit 0 total income spend button. The next edit field.
Yeah,
List
okay,
with
so,
sign out but month combo box collapse Jan.
Oh, why is it
Combo total combo box collapse 2019.
not?
But
It should be showing it as May, not.
tick 5.
Okay, that's.
Tick 5.
If I set it back
Tick
to 4.
4.
Let's see if it does
React
that.
app Mozilla. React app Mozilla list with month combo box collapsed upper.
Yeah, I must have my. Let's look at my budget form and see if I
Tick
mistyped one of my options in my drop
React
there, because if I
list with month combo box collapsed Jan.
no, that's
Budget
not right. Let me see what I
budget
did here.
container budget form budget black tab right brace
The joys of live YouTube. Well, I guess I'll show you this component now. So this is just
import
this is pretty self-explanatory. I'm using
tab return tab left tab
create or well, I'm using Create React App too, but I'm using React Bootstrap. Hopefully that helps me a little bit with the design. I don't know. It sounds good anyway. So this form I have the on submit.
4 tab e dot prevent 4 tab save budget left parent budget
a function that I passed down to the prop from the container component. So the idea of using a container component is that you pass down all of the things that the form needs to render as pops. So like your onChange method for your input controls, and all that stuff. So let me go to the
tab 4 tab less form dot control is 5 tab less option 5 tab less up 5 tab less option value equals quote 51 quote greater.
Yeah, that's why.
1.
There we go. Let's try that.
React app list sign out button month combo box collapsed May.
There we go. Much better. Okay.
Edit 0 total in.
Yeah, that's much better. Okay. So back to where we were.
Budget.
And this won't be edited because I don't feel like editing. Actually, I'm not even sure how to edit video. I know how to edit audio, but I don't know if you can edit video in Goldwave or not. If you could, I don't know how that'd be interesting to see if the video would keep up with the audio. If I cut out audio, if it would cut out the video. I don't know how that works. Video is not really my thing.
Level 2 collapsed.
Anyway.
Level 1 SRC expand. Level 2 budget collapse. Level 3 budget container. Budget container.js dot.
Okay.
Text.
Yeah, so this is,
tab / gets budget if year or month changes.
Okay, so, that's obviously common.
Tab const left brace.
So here what I'm doing is I am doing what's called destructuring. So if you're not familiar with modern JavaScript, this is a way to take properties of an object off of that object and make them different variables. So it makes it a little bit easier to work with. I don't have to do, otherwise I'd have to do budget.year and budget.month all the time. Now I can just do year and month anyway in my component because I have these variables are automatically going to be set to the properties in my budget object. So in the first case, they would be set to 2019 and 5 because that's what my initial state is. So
tab use effect left parent.
Now, use effect is used anytime you want to get data or do anything that would affect other things in the component. So at least for now, I guess there's suspense coming out, but I don't really know anything about that yet, so I'm not even going to go there until I see it on the React blog, and then I'll worry about it. Or maybe I won't. I'm not really using React in my job right now, so this is just all personal learning on my part. So anyway, so I have use effect here, and use effect takes a function, and it returns either nothing or a cleanup function, and you'll see that not with this use effect, but another use effect that I use where I'm using the snapshot feature of Firebase where it returns the function to unsubscribe, but we'll get there. So
tab firebase.db.
So this is my query to get the budget. So
tab dot collection left parent. Tab dot doc left parent.
Now for my document ID, I have the user, the year, and the month because I know that's always going to be unique. So if you're going to set a document ID, Firestore can actually create document IDs for you, but I prefer to set them if I know what they should be. So it just makes it a little bit easier. So I'm grabbing the year, the month, and the logged in user, and I'm putting it in a template string so that's what these grave keys are for. That's another feature of modern JavaScript where you can put variables right into your template or right into your strings without having to plus this and plus that. It's pretty cool.
Tab dot get left parent, right parent.
So that gets the document.
Tab dot then left.
And then you have to do a dot then because it's a promise. So when you do a dot then, what you get from the get is actually a Firebase document. So once we have the document, that then takes a callback function that will contain the document that you queried for. Or you get a document either way, but if the document doesn't exist, there's a field called doc.exist, and that would be false if you had a budget that wasn't in the database yet, and you'll see that I checked for that.
4 tab if left parent doc.exists right parent left.
So if it exists, we want
5
to
tab set budget.
set the budget to that. Doc.data is always all the data of the document. So what I'm doing here is using what's called the spread operator. And this was really hard for me to grasp at first, but it's pretty cool. And I'm going to try to explain it because it took me forever to figure it out. So I'm going to try to see if I can explain it. Maybe it'll help somebody else. What it does is it takes all the fields that are in doc.data, or all the fields in the object after the 3 periods, whatever that object would be, and makes them a part of the object that you're creating that's inside of it. So, this brace here, that starts a new object, and then everything in doc.data will be put into that object as if you had declared it literally. So, like I could do, ID 5.
Showing 3 problems.
Yeah, I know, because I'm, so doc.data, that's why it's showing 3 problems, because it's outside the brace. I was like, why is it showing
5
problems with that?
left brace.
Alright, just for... Yeah, you happy now? No, because I don't have a comma. There.
Value colon.
Oh, if I save that, yeah, no prettier formats it for me. Anyway, so the doc.data puts everything that's in doc.data as if it were a field like what I put in here. So it's a nice way to not have to go through and assign every field in your object. And then
dot.
What I'm doing after that is saying the ID is equal to the document.id. And it's very important, found this out the hard way, it's very important to put that on the right side of the object there, because the right side always wins. So if I accidentally saved a budget, or saved an ID field in my budget, I always want the ID to be equal to the document ID. So if I accidentally saved like an ID in my budget, if I put this ID on the left side over here,
Budget container dot.
Whatever's
Budget.
why it does that. If I put that, like over here, the doc.data would win out. But because it's over here on the right side, if there's a duplicate, this ID will always be the ID. That's what I want.
5 tab / right brace / right line feet. 4 tab right brace else left brace.
So now, that's if the document exists, we're setting it to that. And if it doesn't exist...
5 tab set budget left parent b equals greater left brace.
Now here, I'm using a callback function inside of set budget. I don't really know why I did this. I don't think I really needed to, but I think I was just doing it all that way all the time for a while and just didn't. Anyway, so this syntax is used when you're using set state to, if you need values from the previous state to update the current state. So if I were going to use... Oh, I know why I did it, because I needed the month and year. I wanted to keep the month and year the same. So if you use values from the previous state to update the current state, it's a good idea to use this function as opposed to just declaring the object. And then you can just return whatever your new state's going to be. So here I'm using the spread operator again. And I'm doing I'm initializing the categories, which I could take that out, I think.
I left space
And then
I
am setting the income to 0 and the ID to blank. Alright,
5
so
tab right 4 tab right brace comma left bracket.
okay, and then so that's the end of the use effect. And then this little array over here, and the new version of Create React App, I love that it warns you about this. This array is all the dependencies of use effect. So anything that you use inside that use effect function that I just made there, you have to put in a separate array, because otherwise, well, if you have an empty array, it'll only run once. You can do that too. But the whole point of use effect is to only run this function when certain things change. So like if I'm changing the income, I don't want this budget to reload from Firestore, because then it's going to reset it back again. And if I didn't use effect and I just put this in the component, it would run every time the component renders, which would be a problem. I tried that, not this time, but I've done that already, where I didn't use effect and I got myself into a nice little infinite loop because my code was updating the state, which was causing the component to re-render, which was causing the code to update the state, and yeah, it doesn't work very well. Didn't make my computer slow down, but it sure made the browser interesting, and it made my software kind of freak out because it was like, what the heck's going on? Anyway, so, and I even have things in it, like the Firebase.tb, I know that's not actually going to change. I could probably take that out of there. It would still warn me about it. I'd probably be okay, but I just put it in there to satisfy the warning. It's something that I use in there, so it's a good idea. Good idea to have it in there.
Tab const handle change equals E equals greater.
So the handle change is just the pretty standard if you read about forms in React. It's just the only thing that's kind of nice is I'm using this bracket syntax. I have all my fields have a name which is equal to the field on the object that I want it to be. So you use this bracket syntax when you're declaring an object, and you can have whatever's in the variable be the object. That's another modern JavaScript ES6, I think, feature, which is kind of cool.
Tab right, tab const save budget equals left parent, right parent
so this is
equals
the saving of the budget back to the database. This is where I learned arrays and collections are not the same thing in Firestore. They may seem like they're the same, but they're not. I don't really know why you would want to use an array. I would just use a collection, because you can do snapshots on them, and now they have the ability. So even if you have a nested collection, before you could only query with stuff in the collection. Now I think they have it so you can query across sub collections. I haven't tried that yet because I don't really have a need for it, but I saw that the other day. I'm like, okay. So like if I had a budget and a category collection and another budget and a categories collection underneath that, I could query across both category collections for different things, which is kind of nice. Anyway, so this save budget is pretty...
tab fire abate tab dot collection left parent tab dot left parent grave dollar left brace user.
So you're setting the document again.
Tab dot set left parent budget comma left brace merge colon true right brace right parent.
The merge just says if there's any, don't overwrite it, just merge it into what's already there. I probably really don't need that there, but I just think it's a good idea to have it there. So the budget is just my object from my state. So the income, when that gets changed, the handle change function runs and updates that budget object, and then that would get saved along with the month and year. So if it's a new budget, Set will create the document, and if it's an existing budget, it will update it, which is kind of nice. You don't have to figure out which type of query you need to run and insert an update like you do in SQL. I'm still not sure if I'm like these new SQL or SQL databases better, but I decided, and I know one, I should probably learn the other one. I've been working with SQL for 12 years, so I know that one pretty well. Anyway.
Tab dot then left parent D equals greater left brace.
Okay, so now that budget is set, then after that's done, now this is where I start saving all the categories. And this is where I said you need to keep them at the same level, because otherwise I wouldn't have access to the category stuff. And the category stuff is
4 tab categories dot for each left parent cat equals greater left brace.
So I'm looping through the categories.
5 tab fire
array, and
6 tab dot collection left parent. 6 tab dot doc left parent grave dollar left brace. 6 tab dot collection left parent tick categories tick right parent.
So I'm adding a categories collection underneath the budget collection.
6 tab dot doc left parent cat dot ed right parent.
So yeah, so then I'm
6 tab dot set left parent cat comma left brace merge colon true right brace right parent.
So then I'm merging them. You know, setting that object, so I'm updating the amount there. And when I add a category, I'm not setting an ID, I'm just letting it add and assign it a random ID. So that's how I always know that my categories have IDs in them.
6 tab dot 4 tab alert.
I know I'm not the best at explaining these things, but and then I have an alert that your budget has been saved. I should probably do something a little more fancy than that, but
tab set budget left parent left brace dot budget comma id colon grave dollar left brace user dot id right brace dollar left brace year right brace dollar left brace month right.
Yeah, so here I'm just setting the budget ID so that if you add a new budget, the ID will get set, and then you can start, because I have it set that you can't add categories until you actually created the budget, because there's no budget to assign the categories to, so you have to put your income in and then save it. Like if I
react list with sign out button month deck nav oct combo box 2000 total income spend button edit selected 0 3 save button save spin button edit 300
no category UI here
button save
but if I
dialog your budget has been saved React app document button save button amount edit has auto complete 0
where you can add your categories, and I can
name edit has auto amount edit has auto add button dialog React table with 2 rows and 2.
Yeah, see there, it added it, and I can edit it.
Edit 500 amount 500 selected name edit has auto complete add button save button dialog your budget has been React app document
now
table with 2 testing amount for testing spin button edit 1000
it's still the right amount, and if I
out of month combo box collapse docked
go
deck combo box 2019 month oct combo total in table amount for testing spin button edit selected 1000
it's still gonna be the correct, so that's awesome. So
budget
alright, so one other thing I wanted to show you, I don't know
tab right tab / category code
so this is the category
tab const left bracket
code. This whole I'm using a snapshot for the categories, and it's really cool in Firebase. What that does is it allows you to run a query, and whenever anything changes in that query, you get the query results back. So it's really nice because I don't have to worry about if somebody adds a category, the UI just automatically updates because the state automatically updates because Firebase knows that like if you add a category, it automatically shows up in that table. I didn't have to do anything extra for that. I just had to add it to the right place in Firebase and actually if I had a different tab open, it would even update it there as well. It's pretty neat. So how I did that was, so this is this state that I have. The category state is just an empty array at first.
Blank. Tab use effect left parent.
I have an
left
use effect hook.
Tab if left parent budget dotted right parent left
So
brace.
I'm saying if there's a budget, so if they saved and have a budget in place, because otherwise there's not going to be any ID to get a category from.
Tab const subscribe equals file.
So the way document.onSnapshot works is it returns a function. It takes the callback function that you actually do stuff with the data, but it returns a function that you would return from the use effect hook, so that when the component goes away, that React can clean up after itself. So
For tab dot collection left parent tick but for tab dot doc for tab dot collection left parent tick categories
like
tick right
before,
for tab dot
but
on.
instead of using .get, I use on snapshot, and then that takes a callback function, which I just had S here. You could have any parameter you wanted.
5 tab let C equals left bracket.
And then inside that callback, I have an empty array that I declare. There might be an easier way to do this, but this is the way that I did it here.
Blank. 5 tab S dot for each left parent doc equals
So
greater
for
left
each,
brace.
The snapshot has a for each function as part of it. So for each document in the snapshot. So now we just have documents like we had the budget document. So they have IDs, they have doc.data. You can do anything like that you want. You could set them. You can do whatever you needed to.
6 tab C equals C dot concat left parent left brace dot.
So there again we have the concatenation operator, which just adds an item onto the array. And there again we're using the data. So if I wanted to add a field to the categories, it would just automatically show up because doc.data gives everything. And then over here I have the ID is the ID of the document. So I always have that. I could probably extract that into a hook actually. Not probably, I could. I just haven't done it yet. Maybe I will later.
5 tab right blank. 5 tab set categories left parent
So
C
then
right.
once we get down to the for each loop, once we get to the end of that, we set the state to that loop, so the category. So whenever that snapshot runs, it loops through, sets the array, and then sets the state so that the component will re-render.
4 tab right brace right parent
And
blank. Tab return subscribe semi.
So then we're returning out of that. We're returning that subscribe method so that React will clean up.
Tab right brace else left
and
brace.
If there's no budget.
Tab set categories left.
Categories to an empty. We just set the categories to an empty array because there's no budget, so there's no categories. So that means that way it wipes out everything.
Tab right brace comma
And then
left
again,
bracket.
The use effect is set to the ID. So whenever that ID on the budget changes, so whenever I select a new month or a new year, it causes the ID to change, which causes the effect to run. And if it doesn't change, if it's just the year that I didn't run, well, then there's no need for it to run because there wouldn't be any category. It wouldn't be any categories anyway. So if the ID doesn't change, it won't run, which is just fine.
Tab const handle category change equals left.
Handle category change. This is the other kind of interesting thing. So this is what I use to edit an item in my array. So it has IDX, which is my abbreviation for index, and the E, which is the React event. So what it will do is it will
tab const left brace value right brace equals E dot target.
And I'm doing destructuring again, which that might be a little bit overkill. I could have done E dot target that value, but I like destructuring.
Tab set categories left parent C equals greater.
So there I'm doing that same callback function because I know I'm going to be still using the same. I'm going to be using the categories, just set the new categories, because I'm going to map through them.
Tab return C dot map left parent.
Okay, yeah, so I'm mapping through, and I'm saying V is the value and I is the index. So what I'm going to say is if the index matches the index that's being passed, then we need to update that category. Otherwise, we just return it the way it is.
4 tab if left parent I equals
Here we go. If the index
5
matches,
tab V dot amount equals value semi.
we're going to set the amount, and if I had other fields in here, I would set them.
4 tab right. 4 tab return V semi.
And then regardless of whether I changed anything or not, I still have to return it, because the way map works, map creates a new array based on looping through an existing array. So for every element in the array, you have to return something. Well, I guess you don't have to. Well, yeah, I think you do with map. With filter, that's how you would remove items. But yeah, map, you have to return everything. For any item in the array, you'd have to return something. So that's most of the Firebase.
Tab const add category equals C equals greater or left.
The add category is pretty self-explanatory. You can look at that later if you want.
Tab return left parent. Tab less budget form.
Okay, yeah, the budget form is just, the UI. There you see I'm passing the budget from the state down to the budget form. I'm passing the handle change, which handles the income change. I'm passing the save budget. I'm passing the add category, and I'm passing the
tab handle category change equals left.
Category change.
Tab categories equals left brace categories right brace.
And a list of categories down. So whenever any of those things change, obviously the whole form will re-render itself. I don't think I'm going to show you any more of this code. You can look at the budget form later if you really want, but that's pretty standard React stuff. Well, all this is pretty standard, I guess, but hopefully this is helping somebody. Now I'm going to show you Firebase hosting, assuming I can remember what all the commands are. If not, I'll be showing you how I use Google. So I think
React app debut npm.
Okay, so I'm going to end
terminate
here.
batch C.
So I already have Firebase tools installed. You need to install the Firebase tools, but I'm going to update them. So I'm going to update. I have Firebase tools installed globally. So see what it does here. See if I think that's right. Maybe.
C. Dev budget app greater npm update G Firebase tools blank npm 18 dot rollback failed up 18 dot
yeah, no, it's going to
budget.
I'm going to go to another window because otherwise it's going to keep yapping at me. I don't know what it actually it's cold across the screen there. It just says 18 dots all the time. It must be a bunch of periods, progress messages or something, because I think they all go away once the thing quits running. See if it's done yet.
npm
No, not yet.
but npm
It's still running.
but npm n 6. Extendable 6. Pre-install define property info lifecycle extend shall but
If I had that reading everything, that would drive me nuts. It's like Create React App does the same thing whenever it runs. I don't know what the point of that is. You'd think if it was really important, they'd just write it to a log file or something.
C.
Okay, here we go. Let's see what it did here.
Blank added 122 packages from 98 contributors, removed 181 packages, updated 30 packages, and moved 3 packages in 54.902 seconds. Plus Firebase tools at 6.9.2. Blank current us.
I thought I already had it installed. Must have updated it, I guess. So I think the command here is Firebase tools emit hosting. We'll find out. It's either Firebase tools or Firebase. I think it's Firebase tools. We'll find out here.
Firebase tools is not recognized as an internal or external command, operable program or batch file.
Oh, okay.
C.
Let's try Firebase.
Firebase is not recognized as an C. Dev budget app greater Firebase emit host
I knew that didn't sound right.
G. E. A. E. S. C. Dev budget app greater.
There we go. That's a little more promising.
Error. Emit is not a Firebase command. Group of dashes. Broken vertical bar. Broken vertical bar. Broken
Probably needs to
C.
be
Dev budget app greater Firebase.
Rams, I bet.
T-I-M. MIT hosting. Error. Emit is not a
Okay.
budget container. React app Mozilla Fire.
Okay, I guess I will be showing you how I use Google.
Navigation.
Let's see.
Table. Firebase email. Heading search mode. Main landmark search results. Web results heading level. Firebase hosting. Firebase heading level 3 link. Visited.
See what we get here.
Firebase hosting. Firebase hosting plat web.
This is easy, I promise.
Firebase hosting plat web. Fire micro. YouTube. Link photo. Heading level 3 202. Link introducing Firebase hosting. Key capabilities link heading level 2. How does it work? Firebase hosting is built for the modern web developer. Websites and apps are more powerful than ever. Jekyll.
Yeah, I know.
Whether
all
you're
the
a
marketing material, I just want to know how to do it.
implementation path link heading table with install the Firebase CLI. The link Firebase CLI makes it easy to set up a new hosting project, run a local development server, deploy content. 2. Set up a project directory. Add for your link dynamic content and microservices. You can then link served. 3. Deploy your site. When things are looking good, run link Firebase deploy to upload the latest snapshot to our servers. New versions are released. But 4. Link to a Firebase web app optional. By linking your site to a link.
Alright, that's
C.
not very helpful. Let me see if I just run Firebase. If that'll...
Experimental functions. Shell options launch full node shell with emulated functions. Alias for Firebase F. Functions. Shell. Firestore. Delete options path. Delete data from blank. Use options alias or project add. Set an active Firebase project for your working directory. Tools. Migrate options. Ensure target. Remove less target type display config. Setup. Emulators. Setup. Serve option. Log out. Log the CL. Open link. Quick login. Login options. List the init feature. Set up a Firebase project in the current directory.
Oh, okay. Alright, let's try that.
Space EDS H.
Let's try that.
8 number 4 number 8 number 8 number 8 number 6 number 8 number.
Oh, sheesh.
Blank. Star, you are currently outside your home directory.
Yeah, I know that. I don't care.
Yes. Project setup. First, let's associate this project directory with a Firebase project. You can create multiple project aliases by running Firebase usadd, but for now we'll just set up a default project. Select a default Firebase project for this directory. Use arrow keys. Greater don't set up a default project. Budget app A1682, budget app, time off tracker E76D1. Weight loss tracker Timmy, time, budget, greater don't set up a
Okay, yeah, so this is all of my projects that I have. Some that I actually built and some that I'm just brainstorming about, so.
Create a new project. Select a default Firebase project for this directory.
No, that's not what I want.
Create a new project. Create a new project. Weight greater time off greater Timmy off tracker for create a new project. Wait Timmy off track greater time off tracker.
Nope,
Create a new wait Timmy off track time off track greater budget app A1682 budget app.
I think that's the one I want.
Select a default Firebase project for this directory. Budget app A1682 budget app. Using project budget app A1682 budget app equals hosting setup. Your public directory is the folder relative to your project directory that will contain hosting assets to be uploaded with Firebase Deploy. If you have a build process for your assets, use your build's output directory. What do you want to use as your public directory? Public.
Yeah, so this is kind of important to not just select the default here. Create React app puts all its assets in the build directory, so I'm going to type in build and hit enter.
Build. Configure as a single page app. Rewrite all URLs to /index.html. Y/n.
And yeah, we do want to do that if we're building a React app, because if we're using React Router, we don't want to try to redirect all those other pages. We want to redirect to index.html and let the JavaScript figure out which components to show. So I will hit Y for this.
Plus wrote build /index.html. I writing configuration info to Firebase.sn. I writing project information to .firebasearch. Plus Firebase initialization complete. C. Dev budget.
Okay, so now to deploy, we have to build the app first, so we have to do npm run build to build the React app. And what this does is it creates a production mode, production ready, I should say, app, with the JavaScript all minified and all that kind of stuff. So
greater budget app at 0.1.0 build C. Dev budget app. Greater React scripts build. Creating an optimized production build.
Okay, that's what I want. If you would take a little bit less time, that would be nice. I don't know why it takes so long. It's the first time I built this app too. It might take a little longer the first time, but it takes a little while every other time too. I guess it's going through and minifying all that and packaging it.
Compiled successfully.
Here we go.
File sizes after zip. 263.94 kilobits build static JS 2.8 A4 B9 A14.chunk.js 2.41.
Yeah. So now all I need to do is deploy it. Is just do Firebase and deploy. Hit enter. And it will
equals deploying to budget APA 1682. I deploying hosting. I hosting budget APA 1682, beginning deploy. I hosting budget APA 1682, found for.
And it's done already. So now to go to the URL, I'm just gonna
52,000.
And then
Start window.
Notepad so I can
Blank. Hosting URL. HTTPS / URL HTTP.
Now I can just copy this and paste it into a browser.
Run dialog selection.
I'm going to paste it into the run dialog.
Desktop. React App Mozilla Firefox.
There we go.
React App Mozilla Firefox.
Here it is. It's live. Awesome. And I'll put this code up on GitHub if anybody. I mean, it's pretty simple, but I think it's pretty cool. If you guys, I'm trying to think of some things I could do in the future. I would probably implement some validation to make sure they actually put things in those text fields. I could put a totals table down at the bottom. Like I said, if anybody has any suggestions on the design, I don't think I'm gonna do it commercially or anything, but I'm trying to learn too, so I'm hoping that this might help somebody, and then somebody else might be able to help me in return. So anyway, if you like the video, subscribe and comment on it. If you have any questions about blindness or programming, or blindness and programming, or anything else, feel free to comment and I'll see if I can answer it. Alright, bye for now.